Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks and guitarists, welcome to Clarifying Catholicism. You're watching Part 10 in a series on the history of the Ecumenical Councils according to the Catholic Church. Today we are covering the Fourth Council of Constantinople. Much of this information was gathered from Joseph Kelly's The Ecumenical Councils of the Catholic Church, a History. So if you want an in-depth dive into these topics, make sure to pick up a copy of this book. To see the rest of our episodes, check out our playlist in the description. Without further ado, on to the show. As per usual, the time between councils can be characterized by immense political change. The last episode mostly focused on political strife between Eastern emperors. Honestly, the first half of this series was very heavy on the politics for our Eastern friends. But that will soon change. We briefly mentioned Pepin the Short's new partnership with the Pope, which gave Western spiritual authorities the same type of political authority that their Eastern counterparts had enjoyed. Let's backtrack to 768 though. Pepin's son, Charlemagne, had recently become king of the Franks, a group that pledged to protect the papacy in exchange for its blessing. Charlemagne was a devout Christian who swore to respect the powers of the papacy. When Pope Leo III survived an attempt by his enemies to blind him and cut his tongue out, a favorite method of punishment back then, Charlemagne punished his assaulters and restored Leo to the papacy. As a big thank you for all the great work, Leo crowned Charlemagne emperor on Christmas Day in 800. This infuriated the Byzantines, who were led by the Empress Irene, to which Charlemagne replied, "They don't have an emperor. She's a woman. Women couldn't be emperors." As you might have deduced from listening to the last couple of episodes, the balance of power began rapidly shifting from the conflict-plagued Byzantine Empire to the steadily growing new Frankish Roman Empire. Reflecting this shift in power was a situation in the 800s, in which Byzantine bishops were in a schism, or separation, with each other. In 847, the mother of the Byzantine emperor, Michael the Drunkard, who was still a boy and probably not drunk quite yet, chose a monk named Ignatius as the Patriarch of Constantinople. Ignatius, like many monks who assumed powerful positions, was not the most diplomatic person. In 856, the royal family was deposed in a coup, and the new emperor deposed Ignatius. In his place, he installed a lay person named Photius, who received a 6-day fast track to priesthood before being ordained a bishop. Naturally, this upset supporters of Ignatius, so a schism ensued. Eventually, once Michael the Drunkard came to power after the previous emperor was assassinated, he supported Photius's bishopric. Of course, Michael's reign was usurped, and the new emperor, Basil I, had Ignatius reinstated. Looking to cement his decision, Basil looked for Rome's approval, so Rome held a synod and did just that. Basil realized that his subjects would not accept a decision purely made by Rome, so he called a formal council in Constantinople in 869, where Rome affirmed their decision. Ignatius was reinstated as bishop. Relationships between Rome and Constantinople were defined by their mutual hatred of the Muslim invaders. Their raid of Rome and plundering of St. Peter's Basilica in 846 was ingrained into the memories of the Romans. In 877, Pope John VIII needed a Byzantine fleet for additional defense. But the envoys he sent to Constantinople didn't meet Ignatius, but rather met the formerly deposed Photius, who had returned from his exile, won the emperor's favor, and regained his bishopric following Ignatius's death. Rome was mildly irritated by this, but agreed to acknowledge Photius's bishopric as long as he affirmed Roman supremacy over Constantinople. So, for the sake of keeping relations friendly and appeasing the Romans, Photius declared that Rome indeed held authority over Constantinople. This is probably why the Catholic Church acknowledges Constantinople as an ecumenical council, but the Orthodox do not, specifically because it led to the outcome of the Patriarch Photius admitting that Rome has primacy over Constantinople. This was also the last time a Byzantine emperor would call an ecumenical council. After this, it was the popes who would call and preside over them, as we'll see in the next episode. Thank you very much. God bless you.